welcome to our information evening for parents and carers of Year 6 students who will soon be joining us in September as Year 7 students. It's really nice to welcome you into our school, and a really nice opportunity for you to find out a little bit more about us in this term, which is obviously a bit different to what we were expecting back in January, but welcome. As I said, my name is Karen Hanley, acting head teacher. I've been at the school for almost 15 years and on the senior team for nearly 12, most of that time as a deputy head teacher. I may have seen you around the school at information evenings maybe, or open evening, or maybe you've already got sons and daughters here and we may well have met. If we've never been to Bournside before and you're a brand new parent or carer, a particularly special welcome to you. My background is that I'm an economics teacher. I taught in Dorset for a number of years before I moved up to Cheltenham, and I've been in Cheltenham for 15 years now, and it's a lovely place to live and a great school to teach at, and I really hope to get to meet and know more of you as the time progresses over the next few months. So as I said, it's our evening for you to find out more information about our school. Normally we'd be in the main school hall, and it's a real shame that we can't be there, but we wanted to give you as much information that we could to help you in the transition process with your son or daughter. I really hope that you've been looking at our website and been engaging in some of the transition materials that are already on there. And I know that you've received letters from Mrs. Lees, who oversees our transition process, and she's one of our assistant head teachers. And I know that your son or daughter will now know what house they're in as well, which is fantastic news for them, so they'll know who their head of house is, etc. But please, if you haven't already looked at that section of our website, have a look. Please do the virtual tour. There's a fun quiz to get involved in. And over the next few weeks, that area of our website will be enhanced and more information will go on there about subjects and houses, etc. So please do keep an eye on your emails, keep an eye on our website, because that's obviously going to be the main way that we can get information to you as parents and carers, and most importantly to our students as well. Once you've had a chance to watch this video, and a number of people will be talking to you, you'll have a chance to engage in our transition Zoom, and I know that information was also in the email and the information that Mrs. Lee set out last week. Please do join us. If you've got any questions, no question too small, please do ask it, because I'm sure if you ask it, there'll be a number of other parents listening that have had the same question. Obviously, you might have a question that you don't want to do in that kind of public way, and so in the information that Mrs. Lees has already sent out, and she'll reiterate that in her section tonight, she will talk about how to get in touch with us. Really important, particularly at the moment in these kind of strange and uncertain times, that you have a way to get in touch with us that's an efficient way, and you know you'll get your response quickly, as quick as we can do it. 48 hours is our normal response time, and one of our senior team or whoever's the most appropriate person to get back to you will do so. So obviously I've mentioned that we are in uncertain times. I mean, schools haven't closed. I mean, we've been open since March the 23rd. I mean, our school partially closed on March the 20th, but we've been very much open and preparing for September, but also supporting our vulnerable students and the students whose parents are critical workers. And we've had a number of students in school, and it's been lovely over the last few weeks to welcome back our year 10s and 12s, and certainly as a teacher in the sixth form, it's been great for me to see my students back in a classroom and to be teaching them the subject that they enjoy and that I love to teach them. And you know, we really wish that we could have had the year 6 in this term as well. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible. As you know, government guidance doesn't allow that, so we're really looking forward to seeing them, excited to see them in September and get to know them a little bit more. I mean, I guess the most important thing for you to take away from tonight is obviously the important information that you're going to want to know. I mean, a lot of it you've already gleaned from letters and from the website, but it's your chance to hear from us, is to know that your son or daughter is going to be looked after in September. As a parent, I'm sure that's the most important thing for you. Student welfare, quality of teaching in the classroom, they're the most important things to us, and that's no different. I mean, I know we're in a time when there is a national pandemic, but the quality of the education we provide and the care and support that your son or daughter get has always been the most important two things for us at Bournside, and that won't change. And so that's what you need to take away from tonight, that they're going to be safe, they're going to be happy, they're going to be enjoying life. You know, we're really, really excited about them joining us, as I said. I mean, logistically, I'm not quite sure what that's going to look like yet. As I'm sat recording this video, we are not sure on the government guidance, and so we're waiting for that later this week, and then the position and the plans will be a bit more certain, and we can start to get ready finally for September, which is really, really exciting. I mean, our vision as a school is to empower lives through learning, and what I want is your son or daughter to come home every day with a smile on their face. And first and foremost, for the first few weeks, that they come home with a smile on their face and they tell you about a new friend they've met, or that they want to join the geography club, or they want to start trampolining, or they have learned something in history they didn't know, and they've met this fantastic new teacher that's told them some fantastic new things, or they've got a new book out the library, or whatever it is really. That's what we want. We want them to come home with this kind of thirst for learning, this hunger for knowledge, which they're going to build on through 7 years. I mean, we hope your son and daughter is with us for 7 years. And in 2027, they leave us wherever they're going, whatever their next part of their journey through life is, that we've made an impact on them. You know, that's why we're in the job that we do. We want to make that difference to young people. And I really hope that they take, you know, they just grab hold of everything, and they just think this is a great opportunity for me, and I really want to get involved. So as I've said, please get in touch if you've got any questions. Mrs. Lees will talk more about that later. Join our Zoom later if you've got any questions, and I hope to see you really soon. All the best. Bye.
Hello everybody, my name's Mr. Penny. I'm Deputy Head Teacher who oversees teaching and learning here at Bournside. I just want to talk to you a little bit about what you should expect when you join us in September in your lessons and with your learning. So ultimately we want you to come to school and enjoy every aspect of your learning with us. Lessons should be fun, lessons should be engaging, lessons should be challenging. One of the things I talk to students about, and indeed parents and teachers, is if you're going into a lesson and you leave an hour later and you already knew everything you learned in that classroom, then things are going to get pretty boring. We want you to be challenged. We want, within reason, your brain to hurt. We want you to think. We want you to discuss things, discuss issues with people around you, with members of your class. We want you to get involved in that learning process, a process that we take very, very seriously as teachers. We will expect you to keep your notes very, very neat. Simple things like titles underlined, your date is at the top of your book, at the top of the page. The title of the lesson is clear at the top of your book. That notes are nicely spaced out. Diagrams are drawn in pencil, because you are working to develop these presentation skills that will make learning that much easier for you, that much clearer when you come to review your notes for assessments or key pieces of work. We will expect you when you're not sure about things, and if you're going to learn something new in every lesson, there will be times when you're thinking, I don't know that, or that's really hard, that's really tough. We want you to have a resilience, to build a resilience, to really try and work things out for yourselves, but at the same time to ask people around you, to ask your teacher for clarification on things. Don't be scared to do it. Those students that ask the best questions are the ones that learn the very best. You've got experts in the room delivering subjects they love. I'm a geography teacher. I absolutely adore my subject and love it when children ask me questions about what we're learning or things related to what we're learning, because that is how sort of learning develops within the classroom, which ultimately has got to be the reason you come to school. If you're not coming to school to learn, then I think we need to reevaluate over the summer why you are coming to school. We're here to learn, both in the classroom as well as outside the classroom in our extracurricular activities, whether that's just on the sports field, in the drama classroom, in music, or one of the many, many clubs that we put on to enrich you as young people who are going to develop so much in the next 5 to 7 years if you stay on to our sixth form. In a classroom, you'll see teachers using a huge range of techniques from ones you're used to. So from group work, embracing interactive whiteboards, group challenges. One thing some of you may not be as used to is the embracing of an iPad. So we have an iPad scheme where children you can have access or buy an iPad that will be used in lessons to further bring your learning to life. Whether that's looking at places live, whether that's looking at latest statistics that a textbook simply doesn't have, whether that's looking at a whole range of multimedia aspects that they've got to bring your learning to life and give it a variety and an edge that helps develop that learning. We expect you to do other simple things like be equipped for your day at school, to have a look at your timetable the night before. What have you got tomorrow at school? People who come to school with without a rucksack are not really too sure what you're expecting from your day. You will be expected to have a pencil case with pens, pencils, rulers, rubber, ideally coloured pencils, highlighters to help you learn within the classroom. If you've got PE, you need to bring the correct PE kit so you can fully engage in your PE lesson. It might be you've been asked to bring in certain resources for your design technology lessons, like food ingredients or other materials to help your learning. It's getting organised and making sure that you meet those demands of the teachers. In your rucksack will also be your planner, your student planner, that will contain other key bits of information that will be used every day, not least your reading log in the back. It is an expectation that you do at least or complete at least 10 minutes personal reading every day. We would suggest that is before you go to bed. You've got a book from one of the reading lists that are accessible to you all in the library, and that you read for at least 10 minutes, because reading, again, helps develop you as young people and will help your learning really come to life. They talk about, or the experts, learning experts talk about cultural capital, and cultural capital is developed through a number of ways, but not least reading. You will be given approximately 3 hours homework a week. Homeworks will be around about 20 minutes a piece. It'll be set every 3 lessons for a subject. So you have 3 lessons of geography in year 7 every 2 weeks. So we have a 2-week timetable, as you'll be aware. So every 2 weeks, you'll have 1 piece of geography homework that'll take 20 minutes. That'll be more frequent in other subjects that you have more lessons in, such as English, maths and science over the 2 weeks. Vitally important that you keep organised with that. You build little plans, little timetables for the week, and aim to do a piece or 2 a night. So do 20 minutes, maybe 40 minutes every evening to stay on top of that home learning. That homework will help prepare you for future lessons that will come, or it might be to solidify what you've just been learning about in the class and to help teachers work out what you have or haven't understood when we then come to market and feed it back to you all. So vital we stay on top of our homework. The final thing, I come back to this element of fun and enjoyment at school. Please don't worry about moving up to Bournside in September. Your lessons will be at your next step on your ladder, really, from the ladder you've been moving up, or the road you've been travelling along at primary school. You would have been nervous before you joined your primary school, and very quickly things became normal. You'll be nervous, I know, sat at home watching this, thinking about what will lessons be like in this big school. Yes, you'll move to different classrooms, but I think there's a real air of excitement around that. Different classrooms, different teachers, as opposed to possibly 1 or 2 classrooms, 1 or 2 teachers. These are teachers that are experts in what they deliver, that have a real passion for the subjects that they will be delivering to you. Somebody who loves physics, who loves chemistry, who loves maths, who loves history. These are teachers, are experts that are going to impart that knowledge to you and hopefully breathe an absolute love and passion for some of these subjects as you move through Bournside, achieving things that you do not know you're capable of at the moment. I can't wait to meet you all in September. I can't wait to move in or walk around your classrooms and see how you're getting on. But for now, like I say, please take note of what's being said in these videos, prepare yourselves for September, and I can't wait, I say, meet you in September with that can-do attitude, smiles on your faces, ready to learn. Have a great summer. See you soon.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my absolute pleasure to join you this evening. My name is Mike Stratford. I'm one of the Deputy Head Teachers at Bournside School. And it's my absolute privilege to speak to you tonight about your child joining us in September. It's fair to say it's been a very tricky few months for schools, and I'm sure for you in many ways in your own lives. But we are looking forward, and we are certainly excited about your child joining us. The main role I have within the school is all to do with our school culture. So that's everything from behaviour to attendance to uniform to celebrating successes. Everything that goes into the makeup of the school and the feel for this wonderful place that your child is going to join. So over the next maybe 15 minutes, I will take you through a short presentation to outline my clear expectations for your child, and also to go through some of the routines that they're going to need to get used to quite quickly. I feel hugely privileged to have the job I do within the school. I love Bournside. I've been here for a number of years as a PE teacher. I've taught history and science. I've been a head of year. I've also been the head of sixth form, an assistant head teacher, and now I'm one of the deputy head teachers. And this certainly is the most exciting job that I've had. Your child is joining us at an extremely exciting time. It's our second year of the house system, and it's the house system that I mainly lead on and that I'm going to speak you through. So I am going to use a presentation. So you're going to see me a little bit like this, sort of hopefully talking to you, and then you're also going to hear me speaking over a short presentation that I'm going to start now. I really hope it's informative, and as you know, at the end of it, of these videos, if you do have questions, we're going to be available live via Zoom or at the end of a phone or email if you have any further questions. Okay, here we go. So as I said, I oversee the house system within the school. This will be the second year of our new house system that your child will be joining us with. And I have to say, it has been such an exciting development and such a success for our school throughout this year, obviously up until March, when unfortunately we went into lockdown. But your child will be joining one of 6 houses. The house icons were voted for by our student body, parents and staff. And the 6 winning icons, if you like, are presented to you here on the screen. And your child will be joining one of these houses that will be headed by our house head, which is a member of staff within the school that sets that standard and expectation for the students within their house. Each house also has a house tutor team. Your child will see their tutor twice a day, once for the morning consistency check and once in the afternoon for a tutor period. It's during this time that they'll work in a mixed age group. Their tutor group will be made up of a mixture of year 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 students. This is very deliberate and replicates the kind of world they're going to be going into after secondary school, where you do need those skills to interact with various people. It also allows some of our exceptional role models in our older year groups to set fantastic examples to our younger students and help them settle into Bournside very quickly. And we have values for our house system. There are 5 of them. We ask that every child in the school are purposeful, proud, respectful, curious and supportive. And these 5 values underpin everything that we do throughout the school and our tutor programme. We educate our children around these. So for example, we do have a curious day. We give it a focus during our tutor programme, and on that curious day, our tutor groups debate big questions and look into research topics with their tutor. On our respectful day, we hold an assembly and we ask our children to show respect on how they enter the hall in silence and how they show respect to the speaker that they have for their assembly, and go through all things etiquette and manners. Our purposeful day is always on a Monday, where we set out our school diary and our school planner with our homework schedule for the week, and we look at our deadlines and our timetable to make sure they have a purposeful start to the week. And these values go through everything that we do. And it's very simple that we expect our children to arrive adhering to those values and showing us them at all times. And this makes up the culture of our school. There are 2 questions to consider really. What happens if my child is all of these things at all times? And that's obviously clearly what we're looking for. What happens if my child is not these things? And I'm going to answer those questions for you now. So first of all, if they are those things, then a big and probably most exciting part of my role is, along with the heads of house, is to celebrate their achievements. We have our ladder of achievement and rewards that works up, as you can see on the screen, from a house point up to significant house points, depending on the kind of achievements they've had. Our house points are our reward system within the school. So if they have exceptional effort, they persevere, they do a good piece of homework, then teachers and tutors will be allocating house points to them. You will be able to see these house points and when they're awarded them in real time if you download our Class Charts app. So when your child receives that house point, you will get a notification on your mobile phone as a parent, letting you know what they got it for, when and who allocated it. House points then move up to house competitions, where we may have house poetry, house rugby, house dance, house drama, house music. We have an event I'm sure will suit your child's interest. And obviously houses will get 10 points if they come in last place, up to 60 points allocated if they win a respective house competition. We also award house points for attendance. You can't hide the fact that attendance and success go hand in hand. We need students within the school maintaining 98% or above attendance in order for them to really succeed and achieve their potential. You'll see on my presentation I have these House Hero badges. These are awarded termly by our heads of house for students who have shown outstanding attitude to learning, have what we call green attendance and a positive behaviour record throughout their subjects. And we analyse this via terms when we look at their reports that are sent home to you from their teachers and tutors. Rewards and achievement really are the makeup of our school, and it's something that we've really enhanced over the last couple of years to make sure every child feels successful in their education. Okay, the second question was, what if my child doesn't show those values? So we do have our ladder of rewards, but we also have our ladder of consequences. And this is an appendix to our behaviour policy, which is available on our website. This aspect of school life I take extremely seriously, and I will never apologise for having high standards within the school. So our ladder of consequences start at a level 1, which means that they're going to probably get themselves a warning or a 15-minute detention. Now this can be for being late to school in the morning. We expect every child here by 8:35, ready for an 8:40 shooter time. If they are late, they will have one warning. A second late within that term will result in a 15-minute detention at the end of each day. If they fail to hand in homework on the first time, they'll be given a warning and a short extension. If they use their mobile phones within the school building or in a lesson without permission, they will be confiscated and we expect a parent to collect them. All of these type of behaviours fall within level 1 of our ladder of consequences. The bottom row shows that if your child decides for whatever reason that they want to disrupt the learning of others, they want to chat maybe when they should be listening, or they want to disrupt the person next to them, our staff are well trained and will all issue them with a level 1 warning. Their name will be written up on a board. And if they've had that level 1 warning, it is a very clear line in the sand to say, you now need to get it right. And we'll always give them that opportunity to prove to us that they know how to get it right, because we know they can all do it. However, if a child doesn't listen to that and they continue to disrupt the learning of others, my strong belief is that every child has the right to learn in a distraction-free environment, and that no other person in that room should inhibit that and limit the progress through disrupting people. So they'll be issued with a final level 1 warning from their teacher. That's the terminology that we use. If a child hears that, they should very quickly know that they need to respond immediately to behave, or they will actually be removed from that lesson by a senior member of staff. And that's when we go on to our level 2 section of our ladder. So level 2s, there are 2 areas to it. One is a detention that can be issued, and that can be for arriving late to lessons without good reason. not being equipped for their learning, not failing to submit their homework after extensions, or generally just a lack of effort during lessons, we can keep them at the end of the day for 30 minutes and you will receive a message home about that. The second part of the ladder is all about this removal from a lesson. So if they do disrupt the learning of others repeatedly, they will be collected by a member of staff and taken to what we call our BRC, our Bournside Reintegration Centre. It's an area of the school that is staffed by up to 7 members of staff on a rota. Here, students will be expected to work in silence, and they will stay in silence working until we are happy that they can return to lessons. That decision will be made by the members of staff in that area and will all be based on how they've reacted to being removed from the lesson and the standard of work they've produced once in our BRC centre. It's rare, it doesn't happen often. It actually, as a percentage of the school, it's less than 2% of the school that this has happened to, but it is a really important arm to our ladder of consequences because no student should interrupt the learning of others and, if you like, impact on the learning of the majority because they don't feel they wish to behave. Clearly, in all of this system, reasonable adjustments are made where needed, but we do have this clear line in the sand. So if we do go past level 2 in our ladder of consequences, we do have our level 3, and this is a fixed term placement in our Bournside Reintegration Centre. We want to keep children in school as much as possible. We don't want to exclude home. So this means that a child will be kept within our Bournside Reintegration Centre working on their subjects, but within isolation and in silence away from their peers because they've accrued persistent disruption across a number of lessons. They've refused to follow staff instructions. They've failed to attend a senior leader's detention, or there's ongoing issues with truancy or bullying. Or they've arrived to school not wearing their uniform and refusing to change into the stock uniform that we have available in school. If any of those behaviours happen, then we're saying they're forfeiting their right to be in the classroom as normal, and they'll be educated for the day in our reintegration centre. Our reintegration centre has separate break and lunch times to the rest of the school and also has a later finishing time of the day at 4 o'clock. It's very rare that we get students in here for fixed term placements, but it does happen, and it's an important area that we have in our behaviour policy to ensure the vast majority of students can be successful in their lessons. Now, beyond level 3, I'm not going to overly present on this evening because it is rare when this happens. We do have a level 4, which is a fixed term exclusion. Now, this is where we will say that they have forfeited their right to be in school and they will be excluded home, which will go onto their record. This can be from anything from 1 day at home up to 35 days if needed, depending on the severity of the incident. We try and use this sparingly, but we do use it. And if a child's behaviour is that, otherwise it's totally unacceptable at the school, we will ask them to return home to you, where they will be excluded at home. The final level on our ladder is our level 5. It's a very sad day when we ever have to use this, but unfortunately there are times that we do. It's always a very difficult and heartbreaking call to make, but level 5 is a permanent exclusion from Bournside School. It's very rare it happens, and our ladder of consequences outlines the type of behaviour that a level 5 permanent exclusion would be issued. Hopefully we will never get to that point, I'm sure we won't. But we do have this ladder of reward and ladder of consequences that make our behaviour policy within the school. And we firmly believe that they're both there for a very real reason. They are there to allow students to be successful, to know where the lines in the sand are, and to know what they can and can't do. One thing my years in teaching have shown me is even if children don't like to admit it, they do like routine and they do like to know where the boundaries are and what they can and can't do. And then it's up to them and us to make sure that they adhere to it. And consistency is the key. I say this to staff all the time, and we regularly train our staff to be consistent in their approaches. But one thing we do look at is consistency from our children as well. Something that they show us that they are proud to be part of Bournside, and they come in every day on time, equipped, dressed appropriately, ready to learn. So 8:40 every day, there is a consistency check with their tutor rooms. We check that they have their equipment, we check that they are wearing the right uniform, and we check that they are ready for their day. The students who don't have their equipment, we lend it for the day. We don't want that to be a barrier. We will give their equipment for them for the day so they can learn. If they have arrived in a wrong uniform, they've decided for some reason they want to wear trainers today, that will not be tolerated, and we do have a stock of uniform that we will give them the chance to wear and borrow. If they refuse to do that, then unfortunately they won't be in lessons. But during that consistency check is when we make sure our children are ready for the day, and our tutors work really hard to help equip them and prepare them properly for the day ahead. That happens every day. As I say, if they come in with the right attitude, purposeful pride, respectful of each other and themselves, curious and supportive of each other, then they're going to be highly successful. And we do have this scenario where we have our house leaderboard, and every child that comes in and lives and breathes the ethos and culture of Bournside will contribute to their house leading the way as part of our house system. We ask that every child comes dressed and equipped to learn. This is part of having high standards. We won't apologise for that, and we ask very much that you support us with it. And all the information about uniform and equipment is on the Year 6 area of our website and in our policy, as I know many of you have been accessing it already. So let me take you through this. So Equip for Learning is very easy. We talk about the Magnificent Seven, that every child has a workable pencil case. That means they have the minimum of 2 pens, 2 pencils, a ruler, a rubber, pencil sharpener, and within their bag they have a reading book and the planner, which will be provided by the school at the start of September. If they have those basic forms of equipment, we know they can have a successful day of learning. In addition to that, we know that many students love to bring colouring pencils and highlighter pens, mathematical equipment. They'll need calculators on certain days. They may buy into the iPad programme, and on certain days will need their PE kit, ingredients for food, and possibly even a musical instrument. Obviously, on those additional days, they will need those items as well, but it's those key 7 items that we know will allow them to hit the ground running in every lesson, and we will check that they have those every morning. So please support us in helping your child make sure they have them. Dress for learning is really important. I've put a photograph here of our uniform guidance, which I'm sure you've all had a look at already, and that will help you understand our uniform a bit more. You know, every child that comes to Bournside, we want to be proud to wear the Bournside badge and that blazer. I certainly am to wear my staff badge. And we ask that every child arrives every day dressed for learning and dressed as a Bournside student. So that will be their school trousers or skirt, an appropriate white shirt, wearing their house coloured tie, which we will present in a presentation ceremony to our new Year 7s in September, always wearing their school blazer, a pair of school shoes. This is important. Now I'm going to pause on this point. I've lost count the number of times that I've had conversations with parents and students in the morning about why they're wearing trainers instead of shoes. We don't want it. We expect them to wear school shoes, everybody to wear school shoes. So please look at the guidance carefully on that. In addition to this, we've added in a school bag, and we ask it to be a rucksack style, not a handbag, as many youngsters in our school over the last sort of 12 months have started to try and use. We ask for a rucksack where they can store appropriately their books for the day and all equipment. One thing we did as part of this COVID-19 response was to create more space in our classrooms, which included the removal of banks of lockers that were taking up unnecessary space. So there's a real expectation that your children will need to carry their equipment with them. We will make a few lockers available for special circumstances, but we expect them to put their equipment into their bag. And for that reason, we ask for a rucksack style bag, not a handbag, please. Now, this does seem silly, but you'll be amazed every wet day and every cold day, how many students I see pile through our gates, soaked to the skin, not wearing a coat or cold before the day starts. We know that many students walk to and from school or decide to ride their bike. we ask please that they wear a raincoat on a day that's going to be wet and something warm during the winter. I know it goes without saying, I know it sounds slightly patronising, but as I say, it does happen every day that we get kids soaked to the skin who've walked to school in the rain without wearing a coat. An additional item that I'd like to mention now is a bike helmet. If your child is going to cycle to school, a bike helmet is very much part of their uniform. We have had circumstances where children have been injured on bikes and were not wearing helmets. We say it every year in assemblies and through tutor time and through letters to parents, but still we see dozens of students cycle to school without a helmet. Please put your child's safety first, and please ensure that they have a bicycle helmet if they're indeed using a bike to get to school. But there's so much more that goes into life at Bournside, and so much more that goes into our culture. It's everything from our staff greeting our students at the door every lesson, to holding doors open for them as they walk through the corridors, to your child saying good morning to us in the morning. The culture of the school is unique wherever you go, and Bournside has such a strong tradition of this positive culture. Staff and students should show mutual respect to each other at all times. We have an extensive extracurricular programme, the envy of many schools that your child can get involved in. And it's all of these things that make Bournside the exceptional school that it is, and a place that I'm fiercely proud to be part of. And what I ask is that over the coming months and weeks, when we do meet in person, hopefully at some point, and when we communicate over email or phone call or whatever it is, that each of us, parents, staff, students, governors, anybody involved in the school, please remember the one thing that's important, that everybody is here for the benefit of your child. We all want your child to be successful. And there may be times actually in the future that we don't agree on a certain policy, or we don't agree on something to do with the school rules. But I ask you to please support the school. We have nearly 2,000 students here. We certainly have over 2,000 on site with our staff and support staff that work within Bournside. That's a huge community. And for that to be successful, we all need to know what our rules and boundaries are, and we need to know what our expectations are. And I hope my presentation to you have made that a little bit clearer. And I know that your child will join us in September with the right attitude and approach to school. And because of that, I know they're going to be successful. I think every year, this time of year is the most exciting time for me, albeit it's sort of very different this year. But the knowledge that our new year sixes are joining us, and we have this next wave of Bournsiders joining us, it is so exciting. And I can't wait to get started. I'm sure that we're going to speak many times over the coming months and into your child's time with us at Bournside. And I can't wait for it to begin. So I hope you find this informative. If you have any questions relating to the culture of the school, behaviour, uniform, attendance, anything along those lines, then direct your questions to me via email, telephone, or during the Zoom session once this video presentation is completed. So all that's left for me to do is wish you and your child all the very, very best for the coming weeks that they have remaining really in primary school, and obviously to have a fantastic summer break, and I can't wait to see you all in September. Thanks very much. Take care.
Good evening, I'm Sally Lees and I'm Assistant Head. I'm also Senko for the school and Designated Safeguarding Lead. The aim this evening is for me to give you a brief oversight of the support and welfare structures in place at Cheltenham Bournside. Our Special Educational Needs team is based at the heart of the school, and whilst I am Senko, we are so lucky at Cheltenham Bournside to actually have two Senkos. And our Senko's operational lead works closely with our SEND lead practitioner to ensure the day-to-day needs are met for all of our students. We have a team of teaching assistants who are actually based in departments. And the reason behind this is that we actually feel that this provides a huge amount of continuity and support, not only for our young people, but for the teachers alike. That team regularly interact with the departments and with our SEN team to ensure that we're aware of all students' needs. Throughout the start of the academic year, we will create student passport profiles, and these will be shared with all teachers so that teachers in the classroom are aware of need and how to support and structure their teaching in such a way that all students are able to make progress. We also have a safeguarding and welfare team. This team work closely with educational partners and professionals both within health and social care. Support is at the heart of what we do. But there is one big thing that we would ask from yourselves as we move towards the start of the new academic year. Your son or daughter may already have a mobile device, a phone or an iPad, but it may be something that they're getting in preparation for coming to secondary school. The one thing that we know through our experience is that social media can be an issue. We would ask for your support, and it's so important that you are aware what is going on their devices. It's important to structure rules and routines, and we would really ask you to check their phone regularly. Who are they talking to? What apps are they using? Are you aware of things that they're posting, they're sharing, sites that they're visiting? The one thing that we work closely with the police to support is the education of our young people. And through both our pastoral programme and also our PSHE programme, we will cover aspects of being safe using social media. I suppose one underlying message that always hits home to me is that at the end of the day, as an adult, you pay the contract, and therefore the phone is legally your responsibility. We do endeavour to support young people using social media, but it is so crucial that you work with us. Through our transition website and throughout the academic year, we will share a number of resources with you to help keep you up to speed with what's going on with social media and developments in technology, as well as helping the young people as well. One good routine to get into is ensuring that devices are left downstairs at night time. They go off before bedtime, hopefully an hour or so before, to allow the mind to relax and to ensure a good night's sleep. And that way you know where they are and they're recharging, ready for the next day. From tomorrow, you'll be able to go back onto the website and you will notice a change. All of our department areas have been creating videos and activities for you to have a go at over the summer holiday. We hope that you enjoy the videos to see who the heads of department are and key members of staff, and they will tell you a little bit about what the subjects will be like in Year 7. They've set some activities which we would love you to have a go at, maybe challenge each other, get involved with your families as well. But hopefully you will get to know a little bit more about the school as we get ready to start the new academic year. The last thing I'd like to talk about is routines. When you start at Cheltenham Bournside, the most important thing is to get into a routine and to be organised. Once you've got copies of your timetable, make sure they're stuck up at home. You know which week you're on, because we run a 2-week timetable. Get into the habit of packing bags the night before, making sure you've got everything for the day, that you've done homework. You know your route to school, you know how long that's going to take. If you've never worn a tie with your school uniform, have a practice with somebody's tie. We will present you with your new house tie when you arrive at school in that first week. But it's these little things that can just generate some anxiety. And if you can talk about the structures and the routines ahead and be aware of what you need to do, that's going to be so important as you start the new academic year. I wish you well, and I look forward to seeing you really soon. Take care.
Hello, my name is Mr. Crowford and I'm head of Frank House at Bournside School. I'm absolutely delighted that your son or daughter will be joining Frank House in September, and I really cannot wait to meet them. One of my roles as head of house is to share and celebrate the success of students within Frank House, and we do that through weekly assemblies and through our mixed days tutor programme. It's also my responsibility to support tutors and oversee the pastoral and academic progress of your son and daughter whilst at Bournside School. This year is the first year of our new house system, and students in Frank have collaborated to decide upon 3 key traits that we feel it's important that students demonstrate both inside our school walls and in the wider community. They are that students are determined, they're noble, and they are adaptable. And these things make up our DNA within Frank House. We also regularly talk about making every day count and making the most of the vast opportunities that are on offer to students at Bournside School, whether that be in the classroom or outside of the classroom. To finish, I really do look forward to seeing your son or daughter as soon as possible and supporting them on their next step of their journey in education.